we can look at it as we dropped a 5-run lead, but there was a lot of things that could be done differently. I got Stelly thrown out on a triple, and they overthrow third. Also, I called the last pitch that they hit the double off of, and we could have had the outfield deeper there, but I wanted them in. I didn't want anything falling in front of us. So there was a lot of ifs and buts in that Friday game, but our guys showed really who they are on Saturday to come back after such a crushing defeat. It really was, and not have any residual effects and take care of business handily in game one, and just find a way to gut through it in game two. And fortunately, we were able to score a lot of runs. Thought Jackson Nezu on Saturday was just what the doctor ordered, and that 2 spot's extremely important because either you're trying to win a series or get back into it, and that's what we happen to be doing on Saturday. And he won with a really good fastball again, able to locate it to both sides early, and then pretty much just pound him in for the remainder of his outing. And then thought Coop did a good job of saving our bullpen. And then Ben Tate, 4 scoreless in that second game, was a key to us getting out there with a series win. So it's a great week. Have some much-deserved days off here in front of us. They were off yesterday. They'll only lift today, only lift tomorrow. And then we will simulate a game on Wednesday, have a normal pregame practice on Thursday, and get ready for a really good App State team coming in here this weekend.
You mentioned Ben. He'd had some struggles early. What did you see in him that you thought would have him, let him go out and do what he did over the weekend?
Just he had been putting stuff like that together in bullpens, and he was up to 93, 94, I believe, and that's what he'd been showing in bullpens. Just really hadn't had a chance to get him out there in a while. And, he was able to get ahead, which is the main thing. And then the biggest difference you see is when he doesn't get ahead, he was able to bounce back and counter with a strike. And that's what we hadn't seen so far. We had generally seen kind of like a hitter that swings and misses and the whole AB just goes south. We had seen him get behind and then not able to come back and then hope we get the next guy. This was more of what we wanted to see where, okay, it's not a strike. Let's bounce back and land another one. And he was able to do that.
How do you kind of look at, I don't remember what it was, but your team already for the weekend obviously wasn't what you hoped. We already talked about one of the bright spots in Ben, but how do you look at that overall?
And that's why it's a crazy game. I think the best thing for me here is the 5 years I spent in the Southland Conference. And that is such a dog-eat-dog league because the kids get older together. There's not a ton of drafts out of there, and they learn how to hit. And, they've got an edge to them. A lot of them have been overlooked and whatnot. And so in that experience, and we were fortunate to have some great years. But it's not without ups and downs because you can take stats and throw them out the window. South Owl came in hitting, 240, 250 as a ball club. I don't know what they hit on the weekend. I'd venture to say it's over 300. So they played above their ski tips, and that happens, or they played to their potential. I don't know because I haven't seen enough of their ball club, but they played great. And we draw the best out of every team we're going to play. We did that at Sam Houston. We're going to do that. We've been doing that for years here at UL. Teams are going to overachieve against you. There's one thing that stops momentum, and it's only one thing, and that's good pitching. And then we were able to combine that with great defense. We made one error on the week, and that's how you stop momentum. And fortunately for us, we've been swinging the bats pretty good. So every time they would score, you look up and we've countered, and that's what you got to do.
Speaking of swinging the bats, really good. Had some double-digit offensive nights. What is something that you've noticed during those games that's kind of been like a common factor?
You're finally starting to see the fruits of all the work that Coach Wells and Coach LaFleur and the boys have put in since August, really, of us addressing our on-base percentage and the ability to draw walks, get hit by pitches, reach base in different ways besides an actual base hit. We've forced a ton of errors at this point already because of our speed. I think we've made 22. Our opponents have made 42. We've gone from being minus 36 at this time last year in freebies to plus 49. So a lot of that hard work's coming to fruition, and we've addressed an area where we needed to get better, and we're doing it. I think there's 20-something walks over the weekend, or maybe just in the last 2 games. I don't know. 40 in 5 games. So, that's tremendous. Ben Robichaux has been an incredible spark at the top of our order without collecting hits. I mean, he's hitting .333, but his on base is like .550. And so those two at the top, and then Rocco getting going. I think Rocco at one point had 3 or 4 straight infield base hits, which that's why it's a crazy game. But that got him going. And so we've been able to reach base, and our on-base percentage a year ago was .327. Maybe it's .409 right now. We'd reached base 370-something times a year ago. We've reached base 513 times already. And that was a good offense a year ago. And it speaks to how well this offense could play potentially together.
How much does not having a midweek game, I know you like to play, maybe could help the bullpen over the weekend?
Yeah, it stinks, but it's necessary probably right now. Not having a minor league, organization or, structure to draw from, which you would probably need to in a couple of spots where we're at. We've got to get some guys feeling good and right. Scary moment with Debo, but I think he's good. And then just some few hitters with some nagging stuff. You got CJ with the back, which I thought he played great, but he had been injected earlier in the week, and then he gets hit by a pitch, believe it or not, right in the injection spot. Was a breaking ball, but still, Zambo's wrists are getting better. And then, hopefully McGehee, we'll see him throw at some point this week, and one more week closer to getting Toit back at some point. So we could have used Toit this weekend for sure. They're a little bit deficient against lefties, and I think that's another reason you saw Toit have some of the success, or Tate have some of the success that he had.
Can score runs off.
Can score runs. We saw that a year ago. We got after him pretty good in games 1 and 2 a year ago, and I thought they had a nice ball club. And then they turned the tide on us in game 3, and so they showed some resiliency. And then if you look at their scores, they put up a bunch on Campbell, and Georgia State is off to another fast start, and they went with them toe-to-toe and I think won that series. They're scoring, and they're offensive, and so it'll be a great series.
Is Julian doing anything differently right now to play? I mean, 5 dingers in 5 games, something maybe he wasn't doing early in the year, or he was hitting it well, but.
Well, it's technical, what he was doing earlier. A year ago at this time, he was hitting .216. He didn't even have double-digit RBIs, and he had 1 home run. And you saw how he finished. And he made a setup modification a year ago, and he stuck with it. And he just destroyed the baseball in the fall and in spring training. And, it was a little bit up and down. I thought he was spinning off the dish a little bit early. But in his setup, he's got a setup to his backside, and he was setting up on his front side a lot. And when he does that in his particular approach to the baseball, he's gonna lose what we call connection, and he was losing connection quite a bit. And when Jew will stay tall on that backside and just kind of do what I call play catch with the baseball, let it get to him, he hits it really hard. I think that was 458 feet, 110 miles an hour, the one on Friday. Just super impressive. Then a 3-0 jack straight away. He's making a name for himself real quick. Like.